Hi everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday night live for the Change Journey. If you are going to jump on live, I'd love you to say hi, let me know that you're there so that I can see in the comments who's there and who's watching live. If you're watching the replay, please do a hashtag of replay because I'd love to know that you watched it in the replay. And of course, at any time, if you've got any questions, please just put them into the comments and I'd be more than happy to answer them. If I don't get to them in the live, I'll answer them during the week. And happy to stay focused on that character and chat to you about anything that you want to talk about in relation to that character. So today we're talking about Focused Fran. Here's her little card. And she's the third character in the self-discovery phase of the change journey. So we've already talked about doing your stock take. Then we talked about Inspired Isabel, which was all about really deciding which goals you want to work towards. And then last week we looked at Dedicated Debbie of what derailers might take you off track when you're heading towards your goals. So this week, Focused Fran is all around what are we actually going to do to get to our goals. So we're going to start off, but we're going to walk down this path and this journey, but what are we actually going to do? So it's just about chunking down all the little things that are going to lead you towards that goal. And Focused Fran's flower is a marigold, and I'm sure everybody knows what a marigold is. They come in yellow and orange colours. And the marigold symbolises breaking situations down into manageable pieces, which is perfect for Focused Fran because that's exactly what she's about. So when we're focusing on our goals and they might seem like this massive thing that we want to achieve or something that's really off in the distance and a little bit further down the track, and we can't really, it's not a one-step process. So in my book I use the example of I worked with a client and her task was to write a book, and she thought that that was her to-do list, like write a book, do this, do that. Hey Debbie, thanks for watching live. So when we're writing a book, that is not a task. That's the end result. So what I want to talk about tonight is I'm going to give you a few examples of my life, and then I'm also going to give you an example of Debbie's life, who's watching live, and she was very kind to send me a message and let me know her example to share with everybody tonight, which was great. And then I'm just going to share a journal one that came from the book. So the first thing I want to share is, if you've read the book already, you'll know that one of my goals is to move to the south coast of New South Wales. Not my goal, our goal, my husband's and my goal. So that's a massive goal for us. We're not quite ready to do it yet. We're in the process of kind of deciding when and how and what and where and all those kinds of things. So if you think that our end goal is moving to the south coast of New South Wales, then you take steps back and you go, well, what are the things that I can do right now? So if I'm saying to you that in all honesty, we're probably 5 years away, maybe 3 years away from that goal at the moment. So what are the things that we can be doing right now that we can work towards that goal? So some of the things that we're doing is obviously watching the market. So I have all my real estate alerts. I watch every house that comes on the market. I see if it's a good fit for us. Of course, we've driven down the south coast so many times. We've looked at properties. We're talking to agents, all those kinds of things. So that's kind of a really obvious step to take. If you're looking to move, that's something that you would do. But have a think about some of the other things that you might be able to do. And one of them was what we're doing is we're putting a lot of plants into pots now. So where we would have put stuff into the garden, we're now thinking a bit more long term. And so for instance, we bought a lime tree and a lemon tree, which we really wanted to plant in the garden, but now we've planted them into pots. So when we move, we can take them with us and put them on our new property and then plant them in the ground down there. Similarly, I've got a lot of frangipani cuttings that I'm tending in pots at the moment, and the whole purpose of those frangipanis is to take with us and start planting when we find a new property. So that's kind of a little obscure thing that you can do, that we're doing, which is heading us towards our goal. So it's just about thinking about your goal and what are the steps that you can do to get there. Another one of my examples is obviously this book and getting my message out to a lot of people. So how do I do that? Well, I just try and do one activity every day towards that. So obviously if you're watching my social media, you'll see I'm doing a lot of posting, and I'm trying to post every day during the week and having the weekends off. I'm really just posting when I feel inspired and like I've got something really great to say. So I'm not just posting willy-nilly, but I'm also making sure that I'm really consistent in my messaging and posting on social media, because the people that I want to attract are out there in social media land, and I'm not going to find them if I don't start posting on social media. So that's one action step I'm taking. Other action steps I'm taking is I'm doing my emails to people who've bought the book, and I'm packaging the books beautifully and sending them off. I'm doing some Facebook ads. I'm always clearing my fears and journaling. So every time something comes up, I'm using all the techniques that are in the book, and I'm journaling and I'm clearing stuff as it comes up, which is really helping me move towards the goal of getting this message out there to a really big audience. And obviously if you know that my intent is to make the world a happier place and have people be more happier in the world, just one woman at a time, and that's all it takes. If one woman can be happy and that ripple effect branches out through her family, then what if another woman could do that, and another woman could do that? So what if all these individual women had this amazing change where they decided to live happy lives and they rippled that out to all the people around them? That's really what I'm working towards. And I'm just doing that step by step at the moment, being really intuitive with what I do and waiting for guidance and then going with it. So today I was even watching some videos on how to do media releases and things like that. So there are the little steps that I'm taking towards my big goals. Debbie, who's live, she had a goal to go camping again. So Debbie unfortunately got really sick last year and had a year of chronic fatigue. So she spent a lot of time in bed, and her goal was to go camping again. So she said to me that she joined a women's group and got a lot of inspiration from that. And I'm presuming it was a women's group of camping women, but I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that's what it was, and she can elaborate if she wants to. She also said to me that when she started feeling better, she got a job in a camping store, which is perfect. Like, what a great step to take. If you want to go camping more, stay in the environment that you want to be in more. So she started working in a camping store. Then she bought a van and started to deck it out. And the best thing of all is that next week, and I'm hopefully when the rain finishes, she's going to try do her first solo camping trip, and that is amazing. So you've got here someone who's gone from being in bed with chronic fatigue to having their very first camping trip in 12 months, and that's an amazing feat, and that's an amazing example of just taking little steps towards your end goal. Because when we get into manifesting, and that's a lot further on, but basically the essence of manifesting is if you're taking baby steps towards your goal, the universe is going to respond tenfold. So for me, putting my plants in my pots, for Debbie getting a job in the camping store, all these things are little examples to the universe where the universe says, you know what, that person's really serious about that decision. They're really serious about moving forward towards that goal. Let's speed up the journey a little bit. Let's start to bring in more momentum and give them more of what they want, because they're actually taking action and they're actually moving towards their goal, and I can see that they're committed. So the things that you do don't have to be massive things. Your goals don't have to be massive. One of the examples I used in the book is maybe one of your change journey goals is just to talk nicer to yourself and be kinder to yourself. Because one of the things that we all do as women is we put ourselves down and we have this self-talk of, gosh, you look fat, gosh, you look ugly, you know, look at that pimple on your face, all those kinds of things. And what we need to do is if your goal is to just be kinder to yourself, maybe one of your action points is just to have that awareness and say, I'm not going to talk bad to myself. So that every time you do talk bad to yourself, because it's going to be this subconscious thing that happens and it's going to be a natural reaction, that you'll then say, hang on a minute, no, cancel that. I didn't want to say that, and I'm going to say something nice to myself. So the first step for you might just even be, I'm going to bring my awareness to every time I say something negative about myself. So the purpose of Focused Fran is to just chunk down your big goal into manageable little steps. Do one thing. When you've done that thing, do the next thing. When you've done that thing, do the next thing. In my case, it's kind of building up things. So I've decided that I'm going to post every day on social media. So that's a daily thing that I'm going to do. So then I add in a next task, and then I add in a next task. If you're wanting to be kinder to yourself, and you're going to start bringing in awareness, that's something that that's something that you're going to do every single day. So then you're going to add another task onto that. Some of your tasks will be something where you go, yep, that's done. So for instance, one of my tasks was to sign up for all my real estate alerts. That's done. Now I just have to wait for them all to come in. Or maybe I have to contact a real estate agent, put our plants into pots. They're all done. Big tick. Move on to the next item. So Focused Fran, and the homework for you this week, if you're working through with the live videos, is to really just get your goal and then chunk it into tiny little steps. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be massive. One goal might have 3 steps. One goal might have 100 steps. It really depends on what your goal is and what you're heading towards. But the other thing about Focused Fran is having momentum and having consistency. So it's that we say that it takes 28 days to break a habit. If you want to instill a new goal into your life, then it's probably going to take 21 days for you to get used to doing the thing that it is. For instance, daily posting or having the awareness about yourself. I just have to wipe my nose because it's terribly running. I'm so sorry. So it's about being consistent, doing one thing every day, which is going to make you more likely stay focused and make it easier the next day. Debbie's commented on the chat here about her job, which is great. She asked the universe for the job, it delivered the next day. Yeah, great. Family business, 2 days a week. She loves it. So see how just putting things out to the universe and then showing your commitment can make such a big difference. So Focused Fran, building steps, stay consistent, will help you to remain focused. And then the other thing about Focused Fran is being accountable for your steps. So I'm in this fitness group at the moment, and it's about being accountable to people because changing fitness is one of really hard things to do, and there's a lot of things that can trip you up. For instance, the really dark mornings at the moment with the daylight savings before it ends, which is terrible when it's pitch dark and looks like the middle of the night at 6 a.m. To get up and do something and do some exercise is really, really tough. So accountability can help for that. So if you're struggling to do your tasks and to keep on track, then having an accountability partner or being accountable to somebody can really, really help. So I encourage you to use the group as a, hey Kylie, that's me. Getting up early in the morning is really hard. That's me at the moment too. So having an accountability partner is really important. That can be one person, it can be this group, this page, it can be me, whatever. We do have a special Facebook group for the change journey, and I will put the link in the comments. So if you're not a part of that group and you'd like to be a part of that group, because there may be things that you don't want to share out in this public page, and I totally get that, then we can have those conversations in the Facebook group, and I will put the link in again. So chunk your goals down, stay accountable, do something every day. And the other one is just to focus on one area at a time. Sometimes when we're heading towards goals, we can have multiple goals at the same time as long as they're cohesive. So at the moment I've got the goal of the book promotion and I've got the goal of the moving to the South Coast. So they're goals that can easily happen in conjunction because they're not overpowering and they don't have a lot to do with each other. So, but I'm really only focusing on one at a time, meaning I'm not trying to juggle too much. So a lot of people that I see go, well, I've got 10 goals and I'm going to work toward 10 goals. I think you'll find that you fall into a little bit of overwhelm if you do that. So it's easier to pick something and say, this is what I'm going to head towards at the moment. So let's go back to Debbie's example. Her example was to go camping. Next week she goes camping and she goes, big tick, I've done that goal, what's next? And that might be a bigger trip, or it might be a trip away with other people, or it might be, I don't know, a different venue, or I'm not sure. But it could just, she can then say, well, I've done that goal, what's next? What else can I work on? And what other area of my life can I work on? So that's really all about Focused Fran. Happy to answer any questions, like I said, but also just want to say that some of the characters are really simple. So last week I talked for over 20 minutes about Dedicated Debbie because I had a lot to say and she was quite intricate. Whereas today with Focused Fran, it's really quite simple. It's just about chunking down your goals into manageable steps. So please share, please let me know how you're going. Even put in the comments, what are the steps that you're taking? What are the goals that you're heading towards? And what are some of the things that you're doing? Maybe there'll be other people that can suggest things for you that will say, hey, you could do this. And I'm also happy to do that as well. If you have a goal and you're not really sure what are the steps that you should be taking, then please put your goal in the comments and I'm more than happy to have a chat and give you some ideas about steps to take. Also go into the group if you don't want to do something publicly and we can definitely have a chat in there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being live, ladies. I hope that helped, and thank you, Debbie, very much for sharing your example because that was really helpful, and it really just goes to show that this stuff works. And that we're all doing different things. We all have different interests and we all have different goals, and there's no right or wrong goal and there's no right or wrong task. It's just about doing things that can take you forward towards that goal. So next week is our last character in the self-discovery module of the change journey, and that's Responsible Rita. So we're just going to talk about having that full responsibility for your journey and not waiting for other people to save you. So have a lovely Wednesday night, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.